Okie Welcome back to Black Clover Anime Review, episode number 117. We're on the fourth to last episode of the Black Clover anime, because the series is ending in a few weeks. I get kind of the reason why. The reason is because they're getting very close to kind of the manga. Yeah. Now, this episode, I'm just, technically discussing, the fourth to last episode of the series. Episode 167, Black Oath. And Chapter 284, Ultimate Magic. Now, in the case of this episode, this one finishes up Chapter 255, where it pretty much just covers, last episode covered the first few pages, and that was it. This episode finishes up that chapter, and goes through the entirety of chapters 258 to 260. So, roughly, the anime is, as of this episode, 24 chapters behind the manga. Yeah, there's only 24 chapters to be adapted. Which, you can kind of see the reason why that Studio Parrot needs to either... Well, they probably won't go to anime original content again, because we already went through that already. Though, their best option is to presumably just to end the series. I'm thinking the series is going hiatus, just so we can produce more manga. Yep. Now, the beginning portion of this episode, it starts off with Vanika seeing, oh look, it's Leperkia, she's bloody. They just pick her up and say to Noelle, hey, I'm going to take her to the Spade Kingdom. Like, oh yeah, I remember you. I remember your mother now. Why don't Acer? Why don't Acer? Yeah. I took a child hostage to make her get stronger. Before she killed her. Yep. And basically, Noelle just more angry and vengeful as ever. She really wants to kill Vanika for killing her mother. Like, okay, I'll do something very similar I did with your mother. I'm gonna take this queen to my kingdom in order for you to get stronger. And it's like, and then of course she decides to leave. And of course we have one of the Dark Disciples, one basically says like, Lady Vanika, you leave already? I'll wrap things up, and I'll be there shortly. And she's like, you're gross. I don't need you anymore. Snap. And all the Dark Disciples explode. Even the female one. Now, in the manga, they only show a couple of these guys' bellies with a mark. They did it with the guy there, and the guy that Luck was fighting. The other two never did show their mark on their belly, but here they are in the anime, and they all explode. And it's like a bash. But don't worry, in case you're curious though, do they survive? Yes, it's not revealed actually, but later they actually survive, and they up in the Elf Village. So, and that's just the opening 5 minutes. Yes, and then the rest of the episode is simply put. We only have Asta and Yami versus Dante, and wow, this fight sequence is spectacular. It is so freaking good. There's a bit of sloppiness here and there, like minor bits, but it doesn't take away from the fact this is an epic battle. It's so awesomely done. And they basically must have got similar ideas from Dragon Ball Super for this fight, because this fight is the equivalent of that. Yeah, the fights in Dragon Ball Super. Even though Super was like a few years ago, but either one, the people who worked on this episode may have worked on Dragon Ball Super, that or they probably were inspired by Dragon Ball Super due to the quality of animation and fight sequences, because it is epic. They do a really good job here. And then all of a sudden we have something quite weird happen. Like, it looks like they're about to lose. So Asta makes a deal with, of all people, well, his devil, which he's not known the name of yet, but he will know the name soon. So, makes it basically exchange more power. He's like, become like the guy stronger than he is. Like he really wants to become the Wizard King, but first he needs to be the guy Captain Yami get defended by. It's like, okay, fine. So now this is a very cool translation, because in the manga it's not as detailed as it is here. We see his arm, the complete transformation into the red and black arm he's got currently in the manga. It is really good. If we got a chance to do this, and I got handed the Parrot. This was really good transformation sequence to see his arm transform. Now this, they must have got the idea to do this from One Piece when they had the German Six that had their morphing sequence, and this is a similar idea to it, but not exactly the same, but a similar idea. Back show in detail. This whole sequence took like a minute, but it's great. And then we finally have, oh yeah, it's revealed this whole thing can take 50 seconds. That's all Asta has, beat the guy. So, beat him up for a while, and then Yami basically just hands off a sword to Asta, and Asta slices at Dante, and, well, beats him. They're like, yay, we're going to celebrate. Goosh wakes up, and Gray is happy to see. Now, there is a slight change in mangas. Up to this point, they mostly kept very faithful to the source material. They did have a slight change here where Goosh basically like turned you away and have her butt in Goosh's face. Like, you're happy to see that she's kind of embarrassed, but it seems as though she's like very happy. Like, apparently Goosh has no problem with her hugging him. Yeah, no problem at all. And then, of course, Asa's exhausted. Of course, this arm comes down. It looks like it's permanent. And everything. And, of course, Yami walks over to take Dante into custody. And then Zeon shows up with vengeance. Yep, yes, this happened in 260, in case you're curious, though. And Veneral's like, oh crap, that's Captain Vengeance. What's going on here? Why is he here? And of course, they reminisce about it. They mention what happened. We mentioned, I think a couple episodes back, what the trio Quark Pod, I think it is. They currently have a manga right now. So, basically, Asta is nearly, now of course, they take Yami after he's been stabbed by Zeon's bone magic, and he's about to take Asta, but lucky enough that Fenrir steps in and moves to a different place, and Zeon's like, spatial magic, interesting. And he notices that the bone is cracking because of his fight with Yuno. And then he just walks through a portal with Vengeance, Yami, and presumably Dante. Yep. And then, of course, the sequence ends with Asta basically still with Yami's sword. And, of course, him yelling for Yami. Of course, everybody's shocked to see him go. But this was a really good episode. Barra did a great job with this one. Can't wait for next week, which is going to be the third to last one. And finally going to have the Vice Captain speak in the anime, which that's going to be something to hear his voice. Alright, moving on to chapter 284, Ultimate Magic. The episode with Andrea, I don't think this is Belle. This is probably somebody else. I think it's one of the Guardians of the Elf Village, where we see Licht, actually it's Patry, the guy who's a liar, and of course everybody who basically survived with last stuff, and we see her basically trying to teach them the ultimate magic, and well, they show it off. Basically, you have Asta, True Water. You have Luck and Ganja who use True Lightning. Charmy uses True Cotton. And I think this is supposed to be Earth. I'm not sure who this is. I think this is supposed to be one of the Spirit Guardians. And of course they blast their way right through. Oh yeah, and also we see the Earth Guardian use True Plant Law with Mimosa. True Wind basically with the Wind User. And True Flame with the Flame Guardian, and of course Leopold, and they'll blast their way through the forest of the speaking. Everyone's like so happy they crossed through, and of course Noel's like just wait for Nika, and more devil shows like they're mid-ranking devils. And of course Andrea's like, if you use with low-level devils, if you use a ton of manga, you can mobile them down if you're not in arcane stage. The problem is devils who are mid-level and higher yeah. And of course the devil's basically just smiling, battling him, of course. Yeah, I think it's Luck basically who charges in here. Blows apart one of the devils, yep, and he just basically uses his ultimate lightning magic. Lightning Blade Fiend takes out a lot of the devils. Jeez, come on, if you can't see me, you wouldn't count as a game. And then we see a barrier erected around the main castle. And then apparently we see Vanika. She's been impaled. Actually, I think this is actually the vice captain who's been impaled by some magic. Presumably he's been defeated. But this was definitely an interesting chapter. Definitely looking forward to the next chapter when it comes out. Next month. Well, not next month. Next week. Comes in 5 days. Yep. So, yeah. That's it for Singular View. Oh, by the way, the chapter I give roughly a 10 out of 10. So, excellent chapter. Does progress the thing forward. And surprisingly, no Asta. Yeah, no Asta this chapter, surprisingly. Okay, so that's it for Singular View. And I was thinking to want to review it, but nah, I think I'll pass. Well, I don't think I'll do it anyways. I would do it, but I'll probably do it sometime. Well, I'll do it now. Yeah, a comic history episode discussing Captain Atom. Yep, to next video. Bye.